Give me a few minutes. That's it. I'm not asking you to fix your whole life today. I'm not asking you to suddenly feel happy, motivated, healed, or inspired. Just give me a few quiet minutes where you don't scroll, you don't compare yourself to anyone, and you don't judge yourself. Because right now, you're probably tired. Not just physically tired, mentally tired, emotionally drained, waking up already exhausted, smiling in front of people but feeling empty inside. And if that's you, I need you to know something first. You're not broken. Depression doesn't always look dramatic. Sometimes it looks like laying in bed longer than you should, ignoring messages, avoiding calls, losing interest in things you once loved. It feels like moving through life with a weight on your chest that nobody else can see. And the worst part? You start blaming yourself. You think you're lazy, weak, behind in life. But what if you're not weak? What if you're just overwhelmed? We live in a world that never slows down. Social media shows you people winning every day, making money, building bodies, falling in love, traveling the world. And meanwhile, you're just trying to survive the week. Of course you feel behind. Of course you feel like you're not enough. You've been measuring your real life against everyone else's highlight reel. That would mess with anyone's head. So before we go any further, I want you to stop fighting yourself for a second. Stop trying to fix everything. Stop telling yourself you should be better by now. Healing doesn't work like that. Progress doesn't work like that. You don't shame yourself into becoming stronger. You don't bully yourself into peace. The voice in your head that keeps attacking you, that voice isn't helping. Right now, all I want you to do is this: breathe. Not in a cheesy way. Just take one slow breath. In and out. You're still here. That matters. You've survived every bad day up to this point. That's not weakness. That's quiet strength. And if you can give me a few more minutes, I promise we're not going to magically cure everything, but we're going to take the first real step out of this fog together. Liking and subscribing to my channel helps more people see this video, and maybe my words can help them too. So I'd really appreciate it if you did that. The truth is, most people don't actually want to be saved. They just want the pain to stop. There's a difference. You don't wake up thinking, I want a brand new personality. You wake up thinking, I just don't want to feel like this anymore. That heavy, gray, numb feeling. The overthinking at night. The silence in your room that feels louder than any noise. And sometimes the scariest part isn't sadness, it's the numbness. When nothing excites you, nothing hurts enough to cry, nothing feels real enough to matter. And when you're stuck in that space, you start questioning everything about yourself. Who am I even becoming? Why can't I just be normal? You see other people functioning, going to work, going to school, laughing with friends, and you think they've figured something out that you missed. But what you don't see is how many of them are also struggling silently. People have become experts at looking okay. Social media taught us how to filter our pain. Depression also lies to you. It whispers things that sound logical. It tells you this is permanent, that you've always been this way, that you'll always feel behind. It makes temporary emotions feel like permanent identity. And when you hear something long enough, you start believing it. That's not weakness. That's how the human brain works. Repetition becomes truth, even when it's not. But here's something important. Your thoughts are not facts. Just because your mind says, I'm not enough, doesn't make it true. Just because you feel stuck doesn't mean you are stuck. Feelings are powerful, yes, but they are also waves. And waves move. Even when it feels like you're drowning, the water is still shifting underneath you. This moment, as heavy as it feels, is not the final version of your life. Right now, instead of trying to jump to happiness, let's aim lower. Let's aim for slightly better, slightly lighter, slightly more present. You don't need to transform your whole existence tonight. You just need to prove to yourself that movement is still possible. And the fact that you're even watching this, that means somewhere inside you, there's still a part that wants to feel better. That part is small maybe, but it's alive. And that's enough to build from. Let's get practical for a minute. Not in a fix your life in 24 hours kind of way. Not in a hustle, grind, wake up at 5 a.m. way. I'm talking about something much smaller. Because when you're depressed, the idea of changing your entire life feels impossible. So we're not going to do that. we're going to shrink the battlefield. Instead of fighting your whole future, we're going to focus on the next 10 minutes. That's it. The next 10 minutes are manageable. The next 10 minutes don't require a new personality. Depression loves big, overwhelming thoughts. What am I doing with my life? What if I never succeed? What if I stay like this forever? Those thoughts are massive, and your brain cannot solve massive existential questions at 2 a.m. in a dark room. So of course you feel trapped. You're trying to solve a lifetime in one sitting. Instead, shift the question. Not, how do I fix my life? But what's one small thing I can do right now that makes this moment 1% better? Maybe that one thing is standing up and washing your face. Maybe it's opening a window and letting fresh air in. Maybe it's putting your phone down for 5 minutes and just stretching your body. These sound almost too simple. That's the point. Depression makes everything feel heavy. So the counter move has to be light. Small actions create evidence. And evidence slowly challenges the lie that says, I can't do anything. Your brain believes what it sees you do more than what it hears you say. You can repeat affirmations all day, but if your body stays frozen, your mind follows. Movement, even tiny movement, interrupts the spiral. When you change your physical state, you begin to shift your mental state. That's not motivational fluff. That's biology. You are not just your thoughts. You are a nervous system, and nervous systems respond to action. So here's the shift. Stop waiting to feel motivated. Action creates motivation, not the other way around. You don't wait until you feel like brushing your teeth. You brush them, and then you feel slightly more put together. You don't wait until you feel confident to leave the house. You leave for 5 minutes, and confidence follows slowly. You don't need a breakthrough. You need momentum. And momentum starts embarrassingly small, but it starts. One of the biggest traps depression sets is this. It convinces you that what you're feeling is who you are. Not just, I feel lost, but I am a lost person. Not, I feel unmotivated, but I am lazy. It slowly turns temporary states into permanent identities. And once something becomes your identity, you stop fighting it. You accept it. You start building your life around it. That's where it gets dangerous. Not because you're weak, but because you've confused a season with your personality. But you are not your current state. You are experiencing something. That's different. A person can experience failure without being a failure. A person can experience sadness without being a sad human forever. The problem is that when the feeling lasts long enough, it starts to feel like truth. And the longer you sit in it, the more evidence your brain collects to support it. See, I didn't get up early again. This is just who I am. No, that's a pattern. Patterns can change. Think about who you were 5 years ago. Different thoughts, different fears, different priorities. You've already changed before. You're not a fixed object. You're not a statue carved in stone. You're more like water, constantly shaped by your environment, your habits, your decisions. And if you've changed before without even realizing it, that means you can change again, intentionally this time. Depression shrinks your vision. It makes your world smaller. Your room becomes your universe. Your thoughts become your only company. And when your world shrinks, so does your belief in what's possible. So part of getting out of this isn't about becoming someone new. It's about expanding your world again, even slightly. New inputs, new routines, new environments. You don't need a new identity. You need new evidence. Right now, you might not believe you're capable of more. That's okay. You don't have to believe it fully. You just have to leave a small crack open for the possibility. A small voice that says, maybe this isn't the final version of me. That small opening is powerful because identity isn't discovered, it's built. And every small action you take is a vote for the person you're becoming. Even if it doesn't feel dramatic, even if nobody sees it, you are still in the process of becoming. Let's talk about something uncomfortable. There is a strange comfort in staying depressed. Not because it feels good, it doesn't, but because it's familiar. It's predictable. You know what a bad day feels like. You know how to survive it. Trying to get better? That's unknown. That's uncertain. And uncertainty is scary. So sometimes, without realizing it, you cling to the pain because at least it's consistent. If you get better, expectations come back. Responsibility comes back. Hope comes back. And hope is risky, because when you hope and then fail, it hurts more. So your brain thinks it's protecting you by keeping you numb, by lowering the bar, by whispering, "Don't try too hard. You'll just disappoint yourself again." That voice isn't evil. It's scared. It's trying to avoid another emotional crash. But staying small to avoid pain is its own kind of pain. Playing safe with your entire life is expensive. You pay with time, with potential, with experiences you never allow yourself to have. And one day you look back and realize you weren't protecting yourself. You were limiting yourself. There's a difference between healing and hiding. Hiding feels safer in the short term. Healing feels uncomfortable at first, but only one of them moves you forward. Growth will feel awkward. You will feel fake at first. You'll think, "Who am I to act confident? Who am I to chase something bigger?" That discomfort doesn't mean you're doing it wrong. It means you're stretching beyond your old identity. Every new version of you will feel unnatural in the beginning. That's normal. Nobody feels ready before they change. They change, and then they grow into it. So maybe the question isn't, "Why am I like this?" Maybe it's, "What am I getting from staying like this?" And be honest. Are you avoiding risk? Avoiding rejection? Avoiding responsibility? Awareness isn't about blaming yourself. It's about regaining control. Because once you see the pattern, you're no longer trapped inside it. And the moment you choose discomfort for the sake of growth, even in a tiny way, you stop being a victim of your state, and you become an active participant in your evolution. Let me say something that might hit hard. Nobody is coming to save you. Not the perfect relationship. Not the perfect opportunity. Not some magical morning where you wake up and suddenly feel motivated. We grow up subconsciously waiting for a rescue, a moment, a person, a breakthrough. But most transformations don't arrive like lightning. They arrive like repetition. Boring, small, daily repetition. Depression makes you wait. It makes you say, "When I feel better, I'll start." But the truth is almost backwards. You don't start because you feel better. You feel better because you start. Action creates emotion more often than emotion creates action. And I'm not talking about huge life changes. I'm talking about embarrassingly small moves. Making your bed, going for a 10-minute walk, sending one uncomfortable message. Tiny proof that you are not stuck. Your brain is constantly collecting evidence about who you are. If you do nothing, it records, "This person avoids." If you act, even slightly, it records, "This person moves." And over time, that evidence builds identity. You don't wake up confident. You build confidence by stacking small wins that your brain cannot argue with. Confidence is earned internally, not downloaded externally. There will be days you relapse into old habits. Days where you feel heavy again. That doesn't mean you failed. It means you're human. Healing is not a straight line. It's messy. It loops. It tests you. The mistake is thinking one bad day erases 10 good ones. It doesn't. Progress compounds quietly, even when you don't see it immediately. At some point, you have to decide that your future deserves effort even if your present mood disagrees. That's maturity. Acting in alignment with the person you want to become, not the emotion you're currently feeling. You don't need to feel powerful to take control. You take control, and then power slowly follows. Nobody is coming to save you, and that's not a tragedy. It's power, because it means the pen is already in your hand. Let's go deeper. A lot of what you call depression is actually disconnection. Disconnection from your body, from your purpose, from other people, from meaning. Modern life is loud but empty. You scroll for hours. You consume endlessly. You compare constantly. And at the end of the day, you feel hollow. Not because you're broken, but because you're overstimulated and undernourished in the ways that actually matter. You were not designed to sit inside a screen all day absorbing everyone else's highlights while ignoring your own existence. Your nervous system wasn't built for constant comparison. Every time you scroll, you subconsciously measure your life against curated moments. And your brain doesn't register that it's curated. It just registers, "I'm behind." Do that long enough, and of course you'll feel inadequate. Of course you'll feel small. And then there's the loss of challenge. Humans need friction. We need effort. We need to overcome something real. When life becomes passive, wake up, consume, distract, repeat. Your brain has nothing meaningful to conquer. And without conquest, there's no growth. Without growth, there's no momentum. Without momentum, there's stagnation. And stagnation feels like suffocation. Connection is medicine. Real conversation. Eye contact. Movement. Sunlight. Physical effort. Creating something with your hands. Saying what you actually think instead of what's safe. These are ancient human needs. When they're missing, your system goes into a low-energy state. It conserves. It dulls. It numbs. Not because you're weak, but because you're disconnected from the inputs that make you feel alive. So maybe the solution isn't to fix yourself. Maybe it's to reconnect yourself. Reconnect with discomfort, with nature, with people, with responsibility, with creation instead of consumption. You don't need a new personality. You need new inputs. Change what you feed your mind. Change what you feed your body. Change who you spend time with. And watch how your internal state slowly begins to shift, not magically, but biologically. Let's talk about something you don't usually admit out loud. You're exhausted from pretending. Pretending you're fine. Pretending you don't care. Pretending you're confident. Pretending you're not scared of being judged. Carrying a version of yourself that feels acceptable but not authentic is heavy. And when you wear that mask long enough, you start forgetting who you actually are underneath it. A lot of your sadness isn't just pain, it's suppression. It's the words you didn't say, the boundaries you didn't set, the chances you didn't take because you were afraid of how it would look. You learned early on that approval equals safety. So you adapted. You became agreeable, quiet, impressive, funny, low maintenance, whatever got you accepted. But somewhere along the way, you abandoned parts of yourself. Here's the brutal truth. You will be judged no matter what. If you stay small, people judge you. If you try to grow, people judge you. If you succeed, people judge you. If you fail, people judge you. So the question isn't how to avoid judgment. The question is, whose judgment are you willing to live with? Theirs or your own? Because self-betrayal hurts longer than criticism. Depression sometimes grows in the gap between who you are and who you're pretending to be. The bigger that gap, the heavier you feel. That tension drains your energy. It creates internal conflict. You wake up tired not because you didn't sleep, but because you're constantly performing. And performance without alignment is exhausting. So maybe one of the bravest things you can do is small honesty. Not a dramatic life overhaul. Just tiny acts of authenticity. Saying, I don't like that. Saying, I need space. Saying, this is what I actually want. Every time you choose honesty over performance, you close the gap. And when that gap closes, the weight starts to lift. Not instantly, but noticeably. Now let's talk about the future. Not the fantasy version, not the perfect cinematic comeback story, but the real one. The one that's built in boring, quiet, almost invisible days. You keep thinking your life will change when something big happens. When motivation hits. When someone notices you. When you feel ready. But real transformation rarely announces itself. It starts small, almost disappointingly small. Right now, your brain is trying to predict the rest of your life based on your current emotions. That's a trap. Feelings are weather, not destiny. Just because it's storming today doesn't mean the climate of your life is permanently ruined. But when you're low, your mind zooms out and says, this is it. This is who I am. This is how it will always be. That voice feels logical. It feels convincing. It's also incomplete. The future version of you isn't created in one dramatic decision. It's built through micro-choices. Waking up 30 minutes earlier. Going for a walk when you don't feel like it. Sending the message. Starting the project badly instead of perfectly. Drinking water instead of another energy drink. Tiny actions seem irrelevant in the moment. But repeated daily, they become identity. You don't need certainty to move. You need willingness. Willingness to act without guarantees. Willingness to look stupid. Willingness to fail publicly. The people you admire didn't start with confidence. They built it through repetition. Confidence is evidence stacked over time. And evidence only comes from action. So instead of asking, will I ever escape this? Ask, What can I do today that future me would thank me for? Make it small. Make it doable. Do it even if it feels pointless. Because the future isn't something that happens to you. It's something you quietly construct. And 1 year from now, you could either be living the result of avoidance or the result of courage. So here we are. If you've stayed with me this far, that already says something about you. It means some part of you still cares. Some part of you still wants out. Even if you feel tired. Even if you feel numb. Even if you feel like you've tried before and nothing changed. The fact that you're still listening means there is still a spark. And a spark is enough. You don't need a wildfire right now. You just need one small, stubborn flame that refuses to die. Let's be honest. I can't magically pull you out of your depression in a few minutes. No one can. But what I can do is remind you that you are not trapped in a fixed identity. You are not the depressed one. You are not your worst month. You are not your lowest thought. You are a human being in a season. And seasons change, sometimes slowly, sometimes painfully, but they do change. The version of you that feels strong, clear, alive, that version isn't imaginary. It's just under construction. You don't need to wake up tomorrow as a new person. That's pressure. And pressure breaks people. What you need is direction. 1 degree of change. 1 honest decision. 1 uncomfortable action. Then repeat. That's it. Stop waiting to feel ready. Stop waiting to feel confident. Move while you're uncertain. Move while you're scared. Move while you're doubting yourself. Because action creates clarity, not the other way around. And if nobody told you this lately, I'm proud of you for still being here. For still fighting battles no one sees. For still getting up on days when your mind is heavy. That matters. More than you think. You are not weak for struggling. You are human. And being human is messy. But it's also powerful. There is more in you than this current chapter. Don't close the book just because this page feels dark. If this video made you feel even 1% lighter, then don't keep that to yourself. Hit the like button so this message reaches someone else who might need it. Subscribe if you want more real conversations like this. No fake hype, no toxic positivity, just honest growth. And I want you to go down to the comments and tell me something real. What part hit you the hardest? What are you deciding to change? Let's build something here together. Not just views, but a community of people who refuse to stay stuck.